Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Clear the Backlog podcast for 2026. This is episode 3. We're making a run of it this time, and joined, as always, by Dani. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm here and I'm sleepy.
Excellent. It is. I would say it's late at night when we record this, and it is. But I think this is also the earliest that we've actually recorded these podcasts. Normally they go late into the night.
Yeah, we normally start around like 9, half 9, and then into, well, as long as it takes.
Yeah. We kind of try to say, oh, this one's going to be this is going to be a short one. We haven't played many games. And then we talk for hours.
Just about 2 games.
Just about 2 games. That's it. It's like my wife listened to the last episode, or she was listening to the last episode, and said that it was she said to me that she thought it was supposed to be a shorter episode, and then looked at the runtime and it was 1 hour 46. And I was like, yeah, we kind of got a bit carried away talking about Alan Wake, which...
Time flies when you're talking about Alan Wake.
Time flies when you're talking about Alan Wake, absolutely. But we won't be talking about Alan Wake this week, thankfully.
No.
Maybe we can...
You're welcome.
Make up a little bit of time there. How have you been? It's been a month. I mean, obviously, I spoke to you yesterday, but it's been a month since we've done this.
Yeah, I've been alright. It's been like weird getting used to working again because I was off work for like 6 months.
Sure, you started a new job, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I started that literally at the start of February. So I'm on my 4th week this week. So 4th week ends tomorrow. But yeah, it's been good. Like I'm enjoying the job itself well enough. It's just different going from being at home most of the time and having a lot of time to do like crafts, video games, and whatever else I might want to do.
Yeah.
To then getting home from work and being like, oh, I'm tired.
I don't want to do things.
I want to put my brain into like thinking about something?
Yeah.
And generally, no. So
I've been
trying to do more chill stuff, which isn't always, recording videos for Clear the Backlog, which I have to at least like think about a little bit,
Yeah, for sure. It is it is work. Like, as much you don't want to finish work and then come home and then do more work. I get it. I absolutely do. That's why I do my work during work times. But yeah, it's been a hell of a month.
Just getting used to it. It's just getting used to it. And, that takes time. And I'm definitely a lot better now this week than I was, like, the first week, for example. Even though most of the time in jobs you kind of have a slow start, I actually didn't really. They kind of gave me a project and just went, go for it.
Oh, nice.
So I got straight into stuff and have been working hard since. So yeah, it's just getting used to it and mainly playing more games that require more of my attention or focus on the weekends and saving that for that time. So I also haven't really been going like to visit my sister or like seeing friends as much because like on the weekends because I've been saving those times for the chill stuff I wanted to do during the week that I wasn't able to. So.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's important to make time for yourself, but it is also important to make time for other people as well. And it's a balancing act, and it's hard, and it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, you just kind of get used to being tired, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't had a good night's sleep in about 18 years, but that might just be me. Yeah. I don't know.
I think a lot of people could relate to that. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this month in particular has not been a great month for me. I found out that I was going to be on a shortlist for redundancy at my job, and then today had a call which all but confirmed that I will be made redundant by the end of next month. So that's fun. So I've been sending off job applications, which is everybody loves doing that. Everybody loves sending off job applications and having to talk positively about yourself and being like, oh yeah, I'm the best.
No, it's the worst.
Oh God.
It's the worst thing to do. obviously I've been through it recently, so I can relate. It was not a fun time, and it's also quite like mentally tiring, even if it's not like physically tiring, because you are having to think, how do I word this to make it sound like I'm great, but also I don't want to brag too much.
Yeah,
and all this kind of thing.
Like I work in IT, so it's a fine line of like, oh, I how much do I say I know about this specific tool or this specific technology, knowing that maybe they know a lot more about it than I do, and I come in being like, oh yeah, I'm a whiz at this, and I know how to do all that, and they're like, okay, so how do you do this? And I'm just like,
Yeah, you've got to be realistic and honest about what you can and can't do. But you don't want to also underplay what you can do, because sometimes as well you actually know more than you think you do.
Yeah,
in some things.
Yeah, I found that like I've more or less like this week kind of been going through and actually speaking to recruiters, and they're like, oh, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you know, what you do. And that's when I kind of have to jog my own memory of like, oh yeah, I did do this and I've done this in the past, and I feel like I'm actually quite good at talking about things that way, in a way that kind of make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, even if I don't. I mean, hell,
it helps when they've got
that's
a
what this
list
whole
of
podcast
stuff.
is.
Yeah, it helps when they've got like a list of stuff and they go, have you ever had any kind of experience in this? And you go, oh, actually, yes, I have.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't have thought about, like, because it was maybe a while ago, you maybe don't think about it, and then they ask you about it, and you're like, oh, yes, actually I have. I can make a note of that for my next application to add in.
Exactly. Like one of my first jobs, or well, one of my first jobs working in the IT sector that I work in now, was using a really obscure tool that is not used at all anywhere ever, because it's not robust, it's not reliable, but it's something that I bring up in every interview because tech people will find it interesting. And like, yeah, this is a thing that I did.
Fair.
I did this for 6 months, and it has not helped me progress at all in any way. But isn't it weird that this is a thing I did? Anyway,
Yeah.
it's the ongoing saga of me hopefully finding a job soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm not out of a job yet. It's not panic times exactly. So,
Still got a bit of time.
exactly.
It'd be good to have something lined up so that you can go straight into it though, and not have too much time in between.
Yeah. You want a nice dovetail. Yeah. But we're not here to talk about me and my job woes. We are here to talk about video games. And we have again somehow both played video games off our lists this month.
I'm not gonna lie, I think this podcast is probably helping us.
It definitely is. It definitely is. I keep picking up games and going, oh yeah, I should play this, and I go, no, bad. You should play the video games on your list.
Yep.
But no, it's good because I think I mentioned in our first episode that I don't think I've ever completed a list before, so it'll be good to
hopefully
actually maybe do it this time. And I am.
I always keep going back to like I have like pretty much every single day I have a thought in my brain where I'm like, I should play that video game that I've already played again. It happened today for like Wind Waker. It happened like the other day for Sekiro.
But how good is
Sly
Sekiro
Cooper,
though?
like Ratchet and Clank. You know, the list is endless. Like, think of any game.
I'm
like.
not one really for replaying games. I don't tend to do that, but there are like a select few that every now and then I'll get the bug and be like, oh yeah, maybe I should play that again. Maybe I should play through Metal Gear Solid for the 18th time. Maybe that would be a good way to spend my time.
Yeah, and then I go, nope, you've got too much of a backlog. You need to play those, and also like keep up with new releases, which I haven't been. The backlog is growing, obviously, so that kind of keeps me in check, which is probably a good thing.
The backlog always grows. I think I said to you earlier that this is the perfect format because the backlog always grows. No matter what you do to try and
we will not run
cut
out.
it down, there's always going to be more games. And We will talk about those games. Just a quick disclaimer that there will be spoilers in these discussions. We're going to be talking about. I think the two games that we're going to talk about today, probably not actually as many spoilers as there normally would be.
No.
Because I think both of these games are actually quite light on story.
Spoilers for gameplay, I guess.
Spoilers for gameplay and mechanics and all that kind of stuff, but I think both of these games have to be played to be understood, which makes for fantastic podcast fodder. But why don't you start us off? What game have you played this month?
Yeah, I can do. So I think I said at the end of last show that I was going to aim to play Pseudoregalia, which I did. It's only about 5 or 6 hours long, which is why I picked it for this month, because I knew I was getting into work and all of that kind of thing. So yes, I did it in 2 days within a weekend, like 3 hours on the Saturday, and then like 2.5, 3, and another 3 maybe on Sunday. So 2 short bursts, and it was really good. So this is a 3D platformer / Metroidvania type game.
Yeah.
And it basically plunks you in and says, here you go. You land in this world. You are a bunny, cat. Goat girl.
Yeah. I don't know.
It says near the end of the game, like goat, bunny, cat.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
I don't.
like that.
It's been a while since I've played this game. I don't remember it saying that at the end. Just being like,
yes, you talk to someone and they're like, "Thanks, bunny, goat, cat, girl."
Okay.
I was just like, "Oh, that's what she is." Okay, but yeah, you play as her. And she's very thick thighs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Of note. It's the first thing I noticed about her.
It's hard not to. It's hard not to notice that, to be honest.
Yeah, and it just plunks you in and you go. And there's these little fellas around you, who seem to say something about being prisoners, and that's basically mostly the extent of the story. There is mention of a princess, and at the end you do end up fighting a woman / girl that I assume is the princess.
I think she is. That was my takeaway from it, from when I played it 3 years ago or whatever. But I believe that the person that you fight at the end is the princess.
Yeah, that's what I got. So that's about it. My understanding is maybe you're trying to escape. You go around this castle. There's various areas, and you collect these big keys, and you have to get 5 big keys and then go to the place with the door and unlock it. So my understanding is you're trying to escape. But it's good. It's very open. It's very intersecting and winding in some cases, so you can get to some areas from multiple places to enter at different parts.
It has a bit of that original Dark Souls design where you open a door and you're like, oh, I'm here. Okay, that's interesting.
Exactly. Oh, this leads here. Okay. So I was very thankful to be playing this with a map.
I can imagine that would. I can imagine that would really help. So I played that. I played this when it first, or not long after it first came out, I think, and there was no map. It was just a big old empty castle, and I'll be honest, I have pretty good memory for spaces and directions. I can find my way through places fairly well. However, this was just, it took that to the limit. It took a long time to get my head around the spaces in that game, but I did get there. And
there's ups and downs as well.
Exactly, yeah, it is.
Even on this map, it doesn't label them.
Right.
The entrances and exits to different areas are just little squares on the map.
Okay.
And they don't, like, most of the entrances and exits that are right, left, up, and down on the map will say to the underbelly or to Empty Bailey. And so you know which area it's taking you to. Before you've gone there, it just says to ? But the ones with the squares don't even have a label.
Okay.
Which was weird. But it was still really helpful. Because it meant that I wasn't running around as often. There was still a little bit of that where I went, oh, I can only go one way on this section because it's really hard to get back. So I would take the long way around.
I definitely remember taking the long way around several times, being like, I could go back that way, or I could go the longer, easier way.
Yeah. So there's a bit of that, but it makes it a lot easier to know which ways there are access to and where you can get from where you are. So that was a massive help. So the gameplay is very smooth.
Very smooth.
The main part is platforming. The kind of combat is second. It's minor. You whack people with this big baton thing. And that's all there is. There's not even a proper dodge button. So that's really a secondary thing. It's mainly all the platforming as you go around this world. Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's smooth. You unlock things as you go along. So the first one you get, I'm fairly sure you have to get first, and it's a slide.
Yes, I think you have to get that to progress out of that opening area.
Yeah, so you have to go like underneath a certain like wooden beam or something to get out of that area. But I believe then the rest are pretty open based on what you can get. There must be a little bit of like ones you can't get unless you've got certain abilities. But generally, I think I got them in a weird order. So I got a long jump. I don't know which order I got. I'm not going to say them in the order I got them because I cannot remember. But I got a long jump, a high jump, the slide, of course, a wall kick, and a wall run, and then like a attack that does a projectile as well. Yes, right. Some of the minor bits, maybe like a heavy attack that kind of breaks walls, that kind of thing. So, the platforming in this game is very satisfying, but also quite tricky. And I found myself struggling in some places, like just trying the same section over and over to get it right. Yes,
it definitely has parts of like, it's not a precision platformer, but there are like hard areas that do require like quite precise movement to get through.
Yes, and I found the funny part was I spent so long. When I edit the video, I'm going to fast forward it because it took me so long to get through this like corridor. You had to go straight, land in a bubble. Bubbles like give you extra propelling distance.
I think I know the exact bit you're talking about. And I played this game 3 years ago and have terrible memory, so that says something.
You go into a bubble, you jump out of it, you shoot with the bubble power, and then you have to like wall kick at least 2 or 3 times to then get into another bubble, jump out of that, propel on that, wall kick again, and get a bit of extra height and everything to then reach a platform that's around the corner. It's like in a U shape overall. Yeah. Oh my god, the amount of times that took me to get right, and then I couldn't do it consistently. It was so hard, and that's mainly because the wall kick is not a normal wall kick as most other games do it. Sure. This is like my biggest. It's not a bad thing. It's just different. This is my biggest thing I want to talk about because.
Oh, we're getting into the gripes.
We're getting into it. So, Hollow Knight is a big favourite of mine. Silksong, obviously, it came out last year. Yeah. And I really like those. It's just very different to that. In those kinds of games, when you're wall clinging or jumping, you can go up the same exact wall by using this wall jump. You, like, jump away from the wall and then, like, land on the wall higher up.
Yeah, you kind of do, like, a U shape and kind of keep going up and up and up.
Yes. Can't do that in this one. If you try and do that, because it's 3D, if you go straight at like a perpendicular angle to where the wall is and kick off the wall, it will just propel you back away from the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you will get like a 0 height. It will not be helpful. So if you want to get height, you either have to bounce off like a different wall near it, or you can sometimes get a bit of height if you go kind of diagonally.
Yeah.
At the wall. So it just makes you think a lot more about how the heck you're meant to be traversing, because it's not as simple as just, I'm just going to jump and hit this wall and go up it.
I feel like they are the two schools of thought for platformers in particular, I suppose, but ones that have a wall kick. It's like, can you just infinitely wall kick up one wall, or does there need to be two walls next to each other for you to be able to gain height? Yes. And I feel like you could pretty much separate every game that has a wall kick into one of those two camps.
Yeah, probably. I think it's just less intuitive having come from Hollow Knight and Silksong quite recently.
If you're used to a specific thing, having to do a different thing is...
Yeah, it's just not what I'm used to, which it's fine. Like I said, it's just different. So I was like, I actually have to think about like how I'm doing this. But having said that, it was good. I did enjoy having to do that rather than just being easy. I quite like the challenge of it, you know. Also, I went and got a new ability like after I'd done all that, which was a wall run, which would have made that bit way easier. Yeah. And I could have gotten that way before if I just realised that there was actually loads of areas that I hadn't been to.
Are the upgrades marked on the map at all, or is it just kind of you're just wandering around on the map?
Yeah, you are very much just wandering around. And the thing was, I thought, so the way you get the wall run is like in the outside area up this big tower, and I kind of thought that you would need all the other upgrades to get up the tower.
Right, okay.
So I was like, I'll leave that till later, and I completely forgot it existed. And then I was like, and I think I ended up Googling it because I was like, I can't be asked to like walk around for ages. And I completely forgot that place existed. I didn't know where to go. And I was like, where the hell? And then I Googled it, and it was like, go to the tower in the Empty Bailey. And I was like, oh, yeah, that place exists.
That place.
I'll go do that. And then I got a wall run, and I was like, oh! That would have been helpful for that one bit. And similarly, there's a section in another area which you cannot do with a wall kick. I tried. That's when I Googled it, though, because I was like, there is no way I am able to do this, surely. There must be another ability. I tried. But no, that one did defeat me. So I'm sure you probably, maybe like some glitchy speedrun does it, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, speedrunners can do anything. If I've learned anything from watching 12 odd years of GDQs, it's speedrunners can do just about anything. I'm pretty sure Pseudoregalia was at a GDQ as well, so if you want, go check that out and have a look and see some... No shade to you, more to myself, but when I watched that, I was like, oh, this is what it looks like when someone's good at the game. Yeah. So if you want to see someone be good at the game...
That would be me too.
Yeah, go check out that run.
Yeah, I prefer like glitchless speedruns though, generally. I think they're more impressive. I mean, I know that glitches are hard to like sometimes do, but I prefer it when it's just like you're just playing the game really well.
Yeah, I'm usually one who prefers a glitchless speedrun, but there are the occasional just like, here's a game and this is how we just completely broke it. Is somewhat fascinating to me as well. So
yeah. So that's most of what I have to say about Pseudoregalia. Go play it if you like platformers, because it does play really smoothly. The only other thing to mention is, if you are an achievement hunter, don't play this game, because it has none.
If you're achievement hunter, play the game anyway, because it's really good. But then stop, because there's no achievements.
So yeah, that's it.
All right, nice. I'm glad you liked that one, because that is I think it was like a quiet hit when it came out, and I actually
Yeah.
really liked it as well. Someone who doesn't like 3D platformers actually liked a 3D platformer, so there you go.
Yeah, people might not know much about this one, so it might be a bit less well known. Hopefully, we've given the knowledge to some people, so that they can go and play it.
Well, talking about games that maybe are a bit less known, outside of certain circles, I would believe, the game that I played this month is Disillusion. Now, I think I mentioned on the last, or it might have even been the first podcast that we did, that I saw someone stream this game and immediately turned it off and was like, okay, this is something that I need to look at for myself.
Yes.
And I have now, and I can confidently say that this game's okay. It's fine. Like it does some interesting things, but it didn't quite hit the way that I was expecting it to. So to lay it out, Disillusion, it is a first person, and as they describe on the trailer in Steam, it's an oniric dungeon crawler experience. Oniric is pertaining to sleep and dreams.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask.
Yeah. So it is a very dreamlike experience. It is very strange. It has if you remember the 3D maze from the old like Windows screensavers. I'm talking like old 3D maze. It's essentially that with jacked up textures and cutouts of characters that are all like, they're basically just like a JPEG, and they turn to face you every way. Every time you turn, they turn to face you. But this also happens with like doors and gates and odd little bits. So like you'll turn, be 90 degrees, you'll be facing that way, and the gate or a fence that is supposed to be running parallel to your sight is like not, and it's a bit off-putting at first. And you're like, oh, what's through there? And then you turn, and the gate turns to face you, and very bizarre.
Yeah, it sounds like a weird perspective thing.
Yeah, it's again, it's one of those games that has to be seen to kind of be believed in its own way. But on top of it being like a first-person dungeon crawler, it also has turn-based combat. In a strange way, I was kind of expecting a bit more from the combat. You play as a or the golem, and that is what you're referred to throughout the game, is golem. And the game starts, and you're in a town, and basically told to, hey, you see that tower over there? You got to go climb that tower. And you're like, okay, yeah, this is a video game. Let's go climb the tower. And that's where the dungeon crawling sort of comes into it. It's 30 full floors to get to the top of this tower, with bonus little offshoots for, there's strange little portals on levels, and they can take you off to different little side areas that have different characters and whatever else. But that can all change sort of depending on who you speak to in the tower, who you like, what dialogue options you give throughout the game. And I was kind of expecting there to be more to the combat, because when you do, when you initiate a combat sequence with one of these characters by talking to them, you're thrown into, it's very much like a Final Fantasy. You just choose like turn-based combat, attacks from a menu. Who do you want to attack as? What attack do you want to use? Who are you going to attack? And I never picked up a second party member throughout that game. I don't know that there are any other party members in that game. It might just be me. I don't know. Which is really strange, because you do actually get joined early on in the game by who you found out to be one of the 9 muses, going back to classical literature. And her name's Mel, and she joins you, but she's like, hey, don't tell anybody that I'm here. No one can see me, and no one can know that I'm here. And she'll pop up every now and then as you're progressing through the tower, with odd little cryptic hints about what the story might be, or what her purpose is, or what your purpose is. But she doesn't join you in combat. And like I say, there are definitely things that I missed in this game, whether that's choosing a different dialogue option in certain places, or just areas I just didn't go to because I missed them, or what. But yeah, never found a second party member, but it didn't seem to be a big issue. I never really had that much combat difficulty. I think I might have died 2 or 3 times in the entire game.
It's probably scaled if they're missable. If they do exist and they're missable,
it's a pretty big
scaled.
Yeah.
It's probably scaled to assume you don't get them.
I do wonder.
It would be really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
maybe it would be just super easy if you had to.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you go down the right path. You speak to the right person. You tell them the right dialogue option.
You gotta know the right people.
And then and then the game's on easy mode and you're flying. It's fine.
It's life.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So that's kind of sort of the wrapping of the game. The actual story is pretty basic, but it gets fed to you slowly as you progress up the tower. So the long and short of it is that there is a being called Mara who entered the town, same as you did, years or months or however long ago, entered the tower and built a prison at the top of it to stop people from reaching Nirvana. Nirvana is reached at the top of this tower, supposedly. And there's a lot of talk about Nirvana, Samsara, like the Bodhi tree. There's a lot of very heavy Buddhist philosophy in the game. And I'm not that particularly aware of Buddhist philosophy and what it all entails. Like, I've heard the names Nirvana and Samsara and what have you. Yeah. And I believe it's all part of like a birth and death and rebirth cycle.
Yeah, something like that. I'm also not massively familiar with it, but I definitely have heard of like Nirvana, obviously.
Yeah, but they really do kind of lay it on thick at times with all this stuff, and it with like the inclusion of the classical muses and these weird creatures that inhabit the tower, and the constant sort of everybody's kind of telling you that the longer you spend in the tower, the more insane people get. And that kind of leads to a feeling that I kind of had when I was playing the original Hylix, which is this is more of a basic sort of party-based, turn-based RPG. But the gimmick to the first Hylix game is that everybody has been turned insane by the main antagonist in that game, and it's kind of scrambled all their brains, and they can't string together sentences properly. So every time you speak to a character in that game, their dialogue is procedurally generated.
Oh, that's bizarre.
It is very bizarre. And the feeling I kind of got from playing Disillusion was that same sort of feeling of playing Hylix for the first time and not understanding a thing anybody was on about. Obviously, in Disillusion, this has all been scripted and written as is, where in Hylix, it's just people pulling from a bank of words and stringing them together in strange ways. So, I don't know if I kind of missed something about it, or whether I just don't know enough about, like I said, the Buddhist philosophy side of things. But it kind of, when I got to the end of the game, it all happened very quickly, and I will go into very, very quick spoilers for the ending that I got. Did a little bit of reading afterwards. There are 4 different endings to this game, I believe, and I'm still not clear whether the ending I got was a good one or a bad one. But the floor before the final boss fight, Mel, who's been accompanying you the whole time, you get a quick scene with her where she just is like lying down on the floor, and she's like, "I'm too tired. You're gonna have to go in on your own."
That's such a vibe.
And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And you go in there, and Mara makes you an offer saying, "Oh, I can help you become like the perfect vessel, essentially, or the perfect being." And I said no to that. Had a fight with her, and then the game ended. As soon as you beat that, there's, I think, about 2 or 3 lines of dialogue, and then credits. And the credits are incredibly short, and then the game ends. And it kind of, like, if you're watching this after mid-March, you can actually go and watch my playthrough of it. It'll all be up on the YouTube channel. But you can go and see me at the end of that boss fight in that last episode, just kind of be surprised that it was over.
Abrupt.
It was very abrupt, and there was no sort of, because I'm used to playing like crazy wild JRPGs where they're spouting nonsense for hours and hours on end, and then you get to the final fight and it's this long drawn out experience. And this isn't. It's just and it's over. It's done. So yeah, a strange experience, one that didn't quite hit for me, but I did kind of enjoy my time with it.
Did you look at what the kind of requirements would be for the other endings?
It is a lot of going on and speaking to other people that I apparently just completely missed. Either I took a wrong turn or didn't take a side path somewhere.
Okay.
There's one, if I had accepted Mara's offer at the end, that would have given me a different ending. Yeah. And there are certain events that happen, as I say, throughout the tower with Mel, and you can, if you annoy her or disappoint her, at a certain point, she will either just die or fight you. Where I got to at the end, and lies down, she will either fight you there, or she will just leave you all together at an earlier point in the game if you piss her off enough. So,
I mean, that's fair enough.
There's strange little bits that you can do to kind of influence that, I suppose. But there is a prequel game out there called Disillusion ST. Not 100% sure what that one is actually about. But I'd be curious. I am kind of curious to check that out and see what a prequel to this kind of game is as well. And there's a third game in development by the same dev called Life Seeker, and I don't know if that's part of the same series. There's very little information about that at the moment, other than it seems to be a third-person platformer. So.
Oh, it's not out yet.
That one's not out yet. No, that one's in development currently.
Okay. Wait and see.
Exactly. Yeah. See what comes from that. But that's Disillusion. That's what I think of that. And those are the games that we played this month.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Those are the list games that we played this month. Dani, why don't you start us off? What games have you played that weren't on the list?
So, I mentioned at the end of last podcast that I was going to be playing Cairn, which is like the main game I was looking forward to this year.
It was. I think it was one of like the 2 or 3 games that you mentioned in the first episode that you were actually really looking forward to.
Yeah, exactly. So I played that.
Hey.
It's a survival climbing game. So not only is it a climbing game, so the main other one is Jusant, which I've also played. That's also a climbing game, going up to the top of a mountain. This one is more focused on trying to be immersive. It tries to do the movements as close as it can to real climbing. Jusant's was, you put your hand up here, you grab. You put your hand here, you grab. And she had infinite strength, it seemed like.
I only played the demo.
The moves were very basic.
I only played the demo for Jusant, but it very much seemed like it was, here are the button prompts you need to press, find the next button prompt to climb up to the next point,
Yeah.
essentially.
It was like a very obvious route with very obvious holds, and it was more about the story and a bit gimmicky in that like there was some things where there were certain little animals that when you're near them they give you like a boost up and they push you up. So it's more a little puzzly and that kind of thing. This one is trying to be realistic. So it's about Ava, who wants to climb Mount Cami, and no one has ever summited and come back down and lived to tell the tale. So it's not been summited. And so that's her goal. You start off in a training zone, teaches you how to do the climbing, and then you are let loose to go up on this mountain. There is some story. It's about her trying to get up the mountain. She meets someone along the way, who's another climber, also climbing it, but knows he won't get to the top. Because he's not he's a good climber, but he's no pro type thing. Whereas you're a professional, and it was all on the news that you were going to do this climb and everything. You've got a little climb bot, which is really cute. It's essentially your belay device. If you don't know what belaying is, it's how you stop from hitting the deck. You would screw in some pieces of gear, climbing gear, which you'd be attached to with a rope, and then your belayer, which is usually a human, uses a device to take in slack on the rope and catch you if you were to fall, so that you don't hit the ground.
A very fancy
You have a little climb bot that does this. Yeah, you have a climb bot that does this. Little guy follows you around, who's a cute little guy. He makes chalk from stuff you can compost, so you can put that on your hands to get extra grip, which is accurate. And he follows you around, and you get messages through him from like family, friends back home being like, hope you're doing okay, hope you're not dead, try not to die. And there's a whole sad bit with like their cat, her and her partner's cat, like being sick and then passing away while she's up this mountain and that kind of thing. So, and how like her partner is very like upset that she'd gone to do this because obviously it's very dangerous. So it's like it really touches into like the mental side of it as well, and like the strain it puts on the relationships because she's been so insistent on doing this.
Yeah.
And all of that kind of thing as well. So that's the whole general basis of the story. I mean, I'm gonna spoil it, so if you don't want to know, it is fairly new. Skip forward like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
we'll put timestamps in the video on the podcast. If you do want to skip past the spoiler stuff, just this is your warning.
Yeah, this is the warning because this one's new. So you get to a certain point where you get two options, whether you go up and continue your ascent or you climb down with the guy you meet.
Right.
And the guy you meet is like, no, you have to, like, no one's got past this point and lived. Like, you can come down right now and you'll be fine and we'll go down together, or, you know, I'm not going up there, you have fun. And there's also this one guy you meet at the same point who also tries to convince you to go down, who is like this famous climber who went up like, I don't know how many years ago it's meant to be, but it's meant to be years previously and never came back, and he was assumed to be dead. Mm-hmm. He's just living in this cave in this mountain. Okay. And he's like, if I don't go up, then I haven't failed and I'm not dead. So I'm just going to live here, guess, because, you know, I don't want to go back down and admit defeat, but also I don't want to die. And then all these people have like met him and gone past him and died, and he's watched them like fall or like get caught. There's some like bodies attached to a rope, like 3 bodies all attached to a rope, and they're like, they were smart because, you know, there was a group of them, so they share their supplies and everything. Yeah. But also when one of them falls, they all fall, so, you know.
Risk reward.
And you have to shoot down the rope that they're attached to like help them fall and actually essentially get a grave. Otherwise they're just like dangling on these like icicles off the rock. It's kind of brutal.
That sounds pretty
be
grim.
honest.
That sounds pretty grim. I mean,
It's pretty grim.
I'm sure mountains are just littered with dead bodies, but
I mean, Everest is,
yeah,
for sure. And that's essentially what this is trying to be with this mountain.
right.
And you find bodies like on the way up, like at various points, and you can take food off the bodies because they're not using it anymore.
I mean, hey.
And that is part of it as well, like your survival aspect. You got food, water, and warmth you've got to keep up, and all that kind of thing. But that generally is hidden if you're not like looking at it. So it tries to hide a lot of the UI. There's no like obvious stamina bar while you're climbing. So that's kind of like hidden. You kind of go, maybe she's tired now, I'll take a rest. And you kind of get an idea of it based on like her legs shaking and stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoyed this game a lot. I did 100% it, and I think it did a decent enough job of mimicking climbing movement.
Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect. No video game, I think, is ever going to get it right, because it's kind of the problem of how do you program that in. A lot of the time when you're climbing, you're moving multiple limbs at once. This game mostly makes you choose a limb and then move it.
Yeah.
And it will make, like, for example, if you are moving your arm up to try and grab something above you, and, like, your right foot is bent up high on a rock, it will, if you hold up, it will then make your leg stand up and move, and maybe your bottom leg might come off a rock. So it does a decent job of that, but you still get weird, like, limbs all twisted around every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely what I
and
want
that kind of thing, because it's just so difficult to make, basically.
Every video game is difficult to make, but I imagine one that is so dependent on very specific movement of the human body would just make that so much more tricky to do, at least in a realistic way, like you're saying.
It's like body physics and like balance and center of gravity and all that stuff, and I saw a bit of the development video stuff, and it looked like they were trying to do the right things, but sometimes she'll grab weirdly on a rock that you think should be a really good hold, and then she's really struggling, and you're like, what? You're okay. There's a really good hold there. You're holding on nicely, but like she's like, I'm gonna die, and she's freaking out. And then other times it looks like she's hardly holding onto anything, or her feet are on tiny little just slopes instead of actual rocks like sticking out, and she's having a fine time, and you're like, I think you should be falling, but whatever. Okay. But that's part of like how it's weird where sometimes you can push on a rock instead of like pulling on it. I don't know whether how they've coded that in, because most of the time you are pulling, but what if you use something to push down on it? It's just confusing. I don't know. I think they did a good job considering how difficult that must be to do. And I think my favourite part, and this is what I'll end on talking about this one, is how many different routes there are that you can take to get up this mountain.
Right.
There are set points you have to meet, little cutscenes and that kind of thing. But on the way between those, you can take very many different routes. You can find like guidebooks off people's bodies or on a cave wall or something, which will like show you routes and some grades, but those are just the ones that the developers have put in. You can climb anything, you can go any way you want. It might be really difficult,
sure,
but you can do it. You could probably make it work, and that's what I think is really cool about this game. And I would really like to see the climbing community in general, if there is enough of an overlap between climbers and gamers that would play this, to like make their own routes, like in addition to the ones the developers have put in, and like grade them and then say like, try and do this route in like a certain amount of time, or like with a certain number of moves, for example. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if it would happen, but
climbing gamers assemble.
Yeah, I need call to arms.
Exactly, yeah.
Please.
If you're a gamer and haven't tried climbing, try climbing. If you're a climber and you haven't tried gaming, try gaming. If you do both,
Yeah,
play Cairn.
yeah. Because I think that would get more like people to play it more for longer as well. I did the achievements and I ended up climbing that mountain twice through doing that. But also part of the reason I only did it twice and I didn't faff around too much was because of the survival aspect as well. I kind of feel like maybe I should have turned it off because there's a lot of accessibility settings you can turn it off.
Okay, yeah.
All of the survival you can turn off on fall assist, which means you can rewind a little bit further back once you fall to, you know, not make the same mistake.
Yeah.
And all that stuff is great. I was a little bit concerned while I was going up it the first time that I was taking too long and I was running out of resources. Like, if I go off track and see what's over here, because it looks like there's something interesting over there, will I find enough resources while doing that to make it worth doing, or will I just perish?
How difficult is it
I
to
took too
climb
long.
back down? Like, say you got up to a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm going to go this way up this route, and you get to a point where you're like, actually, no, this isn't going to work out. This has gotten really
That's
hard all of a
fine.
sudden. How easy is it to kind of? I mean, I'm guessing part of that is mentality as well as just the actual skill. It's like, all right, I've wasted all these resources to get up to this point. How far am I going to have to go back down? Should I just try and continue? Like, does it do a good job of telegraphing?
It's not too bad because so if you find the routes, you can kind of go, well, I'll just take the easy route. You know, that's fine. In terms of going back down though, because you can place a piton, a climbing gear, and put your rope through it, you can just rappel back down.
Oh, okay, so it's
all the way,
fairly quick
really
to just get
quickly.
back down. Right, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty forgiving. And there is one section where there's like 3 doll pieces to collect, and they're not on the normal route up, so you have to go up, collect it, and then either go across or like right down and then right across and then back up. And I did do that, and it was probably worth doing. The doll's pretty useful. It's a good little tool thing.
Okay.
I won't say what it does. Find out yourself.
Oh.
But it's, you know, the routes were obvious for those because they were highlighted in the guidebook. Whereas I did do that, but for ones where I was like, I don't know what's going to be there. Is it going to be worth me doing? That's a little bit less, you know, less good. My friend who's playing this is actually doing more of the faffing around.
Okay.
And he seems to be having a great time with it. And I kind of wish I did a little bit more of that. But I think my own like little anxious brain was going, you're going to run out of food, you're going to die. So I didn't.
I wonder if you're more used to playing survival games, whether you kind of understand sort of what you're looking at in terms of resources and how far you can get and stuff like that, as opposed to somebody who, you know, like me, or I'm assuming like you, don't play all that many survival games, so you don't have like an idea of what to expect from it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an odd one because you don't know how much you're going to find along the way because it is very much you find stuff in like bear protected boxes or on corpses in caves sometimes, or you can pick flowers that you can sometimes eat if you cook them up. I found an egg in a nest, stole it from a crow, who then attacked me.
Take that.
But yeah, so if you can kind of see it from the ground, like, oh, there's like a thing there specifically, then yeah, maybe it's worth doing. But I was just like, I have a goal, I am going to get up this mountain. But yes, the only other thing as well is, it is a bit weird the way it represents this lady, because it represents her as this like professional climber, but then it makes this like caricature of her where she's like a mummy, like surrounded with like climbing tape, like bandages. They look like, and they're all over her legs, all over her hands. Her hands are fully taped up all the time,
Seems like an odd choice, but
she doesn't have shoes on until you get to like the icy section at the end, and then she suddenly puts shoes on.
oh,
And it's just a bit of a weird choice, considering I would guess these people do climb, and that seems a bit like a weird thing they want to represent as like I'm a mummy like going up this, I'm wearing no shoes. It's just a bit odd. The other climber you meet looks perfectly normal.
Maybe she's just in
I
it for
guess
the
they
aesthetics.
just wanted to make her look like a main character.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, that was a bit odd. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Bizarre, but
overall,
but you did actually really like the game, so that's good.
Yeah, there's just like some gripes, some things I would change, but I still enjoyed it.
Cool. Well, some of the games that I played on the complete opposite spectrum of what you've played there, I played through Ace Combat 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to be honest, I went full deep dive. And when I mean full deep dive, I mean I bought a flight stick. Right, so, okay. Ace Combat is a series that I've always been interested in ever since I found out about the Strange Reel. The Strange Reel is this alternate Earth that the entire story of Ace Combat is set in. So they've got like completely different countries and peoples, and it's just this whole world, literally an entire world that they've created for these arcadey flight sim games. And I've always been fascinated in why anybody would take the time to do that. So I decided that I was going to go through and play these games and find out. And so far I've only played through Ace Combat 1, also known as Air Combat, Ace Combat 2, and Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere. And so far I've come up against 2 games that are okay and one that has absolutely just blown my mind. So the story of Air Combat, or Ace Combat 1, is that there is a coup d'etat and you need to stop it. And you get in your plane and you stop the coup d'etat by blowing up the bad guys.
Good.
And then you load up Ace Combat 2, and the story of Ace Combat 2 is that there's a coup d'etat and you need to stop it. And you do by getting in your plane and blowing up the bad guys. And at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, these are fun, silly little arcade games. I don't know why you needed to create an entire world just for these fairly basic stories, but okay, great that you did. Then you get to Ace Combat 3. Ace Combat 3, I think, came out in 1998, 1999. Is set in 2050 or around there. And the story of Ace Combat 3 is that there are 2 warring mega corporations.
No coup d'etat, you need to stop?
No coup d'etat. But then just these 2 mega corporations that basically own the entire world. And they're fighting each other for reasons. You kind of come into this like halfway through, in media res, as they say, where one of the corporations has just broken a ceasefire between the 2, and you come in as a fighter pilot for a third organization who is a peacekeeping organization dedicated to trying to keep the peace. So you go and you fight these 2 mega corporations, and these mega corporations all have their own private armies, because of course they do. And you blow up their planes, and it's the standard sort of Ace Combat mechanics and way of playing the games that you've kind of come up against in the past 2 games. But the game just goes off on the story, and the story is just, it gets insane in places. There are animated cutscenes between the missions. Not every mission will have an animated cutscene, but these are professionally animated cutscenes. I think they were done by Production IG, which is a very famous anime studio in Japan, and all the cutscenes are done by them, and they are beautiful cutscenes that go along and tell part of the story, along with the data records you get in between the flights, and so on and so on and so on. And for what was a very basic story in Ace Combat 1 and Ace Combat 2, you get Ace Combat 3, and then there's this huge branching path of decisions that you can make after certain missions. Say you're fighting this one mega corporation, but then at the end of it, one of the guys from the mega corporation is like, "Oh, hey, I saw you flying, and the way you kill our guys is really cool. Why didn't you come over and work for us now?" And you're like,
"You killed our guy so good."
Yeah, it's like you could really be someone in an airplane. So why didn't you come and work for us? And you can make the decision to join them or stay doing what you're doing. There's another decision that you can make where you are escorting a dignitary to a peace conference in another country, and they're on this massive plane that doesn't have defenses or anything like that. You are meant to be the defenses, and then halfway through the mission, you get a message from your commander, basically saying the peace dignitary on that plane is a traitor. Kill him now. And you've got the option to either blow up that plane, or just not, or to blow up the other plane that's along with you that is going to blow up that plane if you don't. So all of these basically come down to 5 different endings. One of each of the mega corporations, one with staying with the peacekeeping faction, and then 2 that end with you joining a rebellious force. And the leader of this rebellious force is a character called Abyssal Dision, which is a fantastic name. And every single one of those 5 paths that you can go down end up with you in your plane shooting down Abyssal Dision. Every single one. And they don't end the same way, but they end with the same event, with you shooting down Abyssal. And I could sit here for hours and discuss how that happens in each of the 5 timelines, but honestly, this game blew my mind in a way that I was not expecting. For a game from 1999 to do some of the stuff that this game does, if you like or even are just remotely interested in flight sims, play Ace Combat 3, because it is so good. If you're not interested in flight sims, go check out videos. There are no doubt hundreds of videos explaining each of the paths, what it means, and what happens at the end of the game. So this is a game that has a true ending that only unlocks after you've played each of those 5 paths. And I did that, and it's one cutscene, but it's one very important cutscene to that story that recontextualizes everything else in that game. So if you're not interested in playing, I think I put about 20 hours into this game. If you're not interested in playing 20 hours of flight sim, I understand. Go watch a video. If you are interested in playing 20 hours of flight sim, put down Microsoft Flight Simulator, play Ace Combat 3, because my god, some of the stuff this game does is just crazy to me that they managed.
I wouldn't expect a flight sim to have that many
No,
like,
I absolutely
options.
didn't. I absolutely didn't, and that's why when I started playing this game, I was like, "Oh, there's something to this. This is really, really cool." But what I will say is, if you do want to play Ace Combat 3, don't play the North American or the European PAL release. Play the original Japanese release there's a readily available English patch, and the reason I say this is because when Ace Combat 3 was released in the West, they completely cut out all the animated cutscenes, all of the story, and made it really basic, just kind of, here's a flight sim where you fight guys. And I imagine the story of that game is, here's a coup d'etat, you need to stop it, and you get in your plane, and you blow up the bad guys, and you do. And there's something to that, but the things that Ace Combat 3 does, I think you really should play it. Or again, like I say, if you're really not that interested in, at least watch a video about it if you're curious about bizarre narratives in games, which I am. So, I absolutely adore this game. I think it's probably the best game I played this month. Yeah.
How many more are there?
Well, there are 4, 5, 6, 7 in the main series, and then there's like a whole load of spin-offs. And then Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief is supposed to be coming out later this year, so hopefully I can play a few more and get them, at least the main series, done before 8 comes out. I don't think that's got a firm date yet. I think it's just down as 2026, so I've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, you got some time. Cool. It's a glowing review.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this might be one of my favorite games of all time.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
I would really have to sit down and think about it, because I don't know where on that list it would go. I've got 3 games at the top of my list that have been there for about 10 years minimum, and I'm like, nothing's come close. This one maybe gets close.
Okay. Well, speaking of glowing reviews, I can give a glowing review to Untitled Goose Game, which I also played this month. The very short, very cute game. I played it because I had it on PlayStation Premium, and I was like, oh yeah, that's an evening. So I did play it like in an evening, and it's just a cute little game where you're just this nice little, well, I say nice little goose, it's not a nice little goose, it's a menacing terror of a goose who honks at people and steals their shit and causes havoc.
Yeah,
that's the summary.
I think I fell in love with this game the minute my friend sent me the trailer for it. And at the beginning of the trailer, it starts with, "It is a lovely day in the village, and you are a terrible goose."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Yep, okay, brilliant. I'm in. Yeah. Let's go."
You are a goose. There's like a bunch of different areas. You get a little to-do list, and most of them are just annoying the locals that live there. So you start off in the garden, you annoy the gardener, you turn on the sprinklers so he has to come turn them off, you steal his rake and put it in the lake, you steal his jam, his thermos, you pull up his carrots and his pumpkins, and you honk while he's hammering in a sign that says no goose, and make him hit his hand because of
the amount of things that you can do in this game. And that is literally just the first area, and that's not everything that you can do in the first area.
No.
When you progress on, and you can literally in the next area, you steal a young boy's glasses and untie his shoelaces so he falls over when he's chasing you. I've
made so many people fall
brilliance. Over. It is just, oh my god, it's such a good game. So good.
I think the meanest was maybe stealing the old guy's chair as he sits down so he falls on his ass. That's pretty good.
That is a good one.
That's pretty good.
Untitled Goose Game it's just a game made up of brilliant little moments. It's like a comedy sketch where everything is being set up in a way that you kind of like, I know where this is going. I know what's going to happen here. And then it happens and you're like, yes, brilliant. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Amazing.
And it's hilarious.
And meanwhile, you can just honk whenever you like.
And
Dedicated
honk button, which I introduced this game to my daughter, and she just ran around. So you can honk and you can flap your wings.
Yes.
And she would just walk around with her wings out and honking, just kind of like ha 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 ha, and that was her fun with the game. So
that's good.
Just so many different ways to enjoy this game.
Yeah. So if you find yourself that's all there is to say. It's simple.
Yeah.
The if you find yourself with an evening, go play it. It is doable within like a couple hours.
Yeah, it's very short. Has a fantastic ending as well. I think the ending of that game is absolutely.
I'm not going to spoil.
No, you have to go play this game for yourself if you know the ending.
There's no point spoiling this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better to live it.
Just go play Untitled Goose Game. It is truly fantastic.
Yeah.
So the only other game that I've played this month is Romeo as a Dead Man. This is a Suda51 joint, and Suda51 is a video game creator that no matter what he does, I'm here for it. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be there day one, money in hand. I'm gonna be that Fry meme of shut up and take my money when Suda51 releases a game, and yeah, this game is wild. I was listening to the Nextlander podcast from a couple of weeks ago, and listening to Alex Navarro just list off the things that you do in this game is worth going back and having a listen to. If you've not heard that, go and listen to him list off everything that you can do in this game, because that's all he does for about 5 minutes is just list off all the different aspects of this game. And that's not even half of it. So I'm going to try and do my best and try and give you an idea of what this game is. You play as the titular Romeo, who in the opening moments of the game gets killed by some kind of... He's a police officer in this sleepy little local town called Deadford. And he is with his partner in the car, and they come across a body lying in the road. Romeo gets out the car and goes and is like, hey, you okay? The body lying in the middle of the road is some kind of demon, and it attacks him and it kills him. This is all like the first 3 minutes of the game.
Wow.
So as Romeo is dying in the middle of the road, it is at this point that his grandfather Benjamin travels through space-time on a bike and is basically saying, Romeo, you're about to die, but that's okay because I've brought this. And he pulls out some sort of device and stabs it into Romeo's eye. And he's like, at this point, you are no longer a living or dead. You are dead man. And you have this helmet, which I believe is called the Dead Gear. And this is keeping you alive. And at some point between that happening and the beginning of the actual game where you can start playing the thing, Romeo is recruited into the FBI's Space-Time Police Division.
Of course he is.
And the game starts with you being tasked with tracking down space-time criminals. I think it's 4 space-time criminals, and then that's all headed up by seemingly the mastermind of the whole game, Romeo's ex-girlfriend, I think. Juliet. Get it? Romeo and Juliet.
Oy. Yeah.
And that is the beginning of the game, and it just gets weirder from there, where you're traveling through space-time and there are dungeons that you can go into that seem to be randomly generated, and you can kill zombies in missions, and they'll drop zombie seeds that you can take to your sister back on the ship, and she'll use them to grow bastards, which are basically zombies that you grow from these seeds, but they work for you, and you can summon the zombies.
So silly.
There's a lady who's a cat, and everybody's like, what's the deal with that cat? And she's like, what? I'm a cat. Deal with it. There's a guy...
For confidence.
She hates you and everyone on this ship.
Me specifically.
Yes, he's probably. probably.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's decided to make himself out of pure energy and now lives inside a computer. There's a guy who's made out of stone, who was a gladiator back in the days of Pompeii and was taken out of the ruins of Pompeii moments before dying, so he now works on your team.
That's really interesting.
That's
a really interesting
this
concept.
this is very much a game that just throws things at the wall, and it just keeps throwing things at the wall, and it just keeps throwing things at the wall, like concepts of things like you would never even try to think of some of this stuff and try and make it work in a cohesive way, and a lot of it doesn't work in a cohesive way. This game is a mess, and it's beautiful in its own way. It is a beautiful mess, like trying to keep wrap your head around everything that's going on in this game. There's a nurse on the ship whose only purpose is for you to play through this mini game where she asks you questions. And it starts off with being like, okay, how are you feeling? What's your temperature? Are you feeling anxiety or anything like that? But there are specific answers to these questions, and the more you get the answers right to these questions, the more questions you get. And that develops out into this whole dating storyline where it's Romeo and this nurse going on a date. And then this is all happening in the guise of like a text-based adventure with certain questions popping up at certain points. And then like midway through the date, she gets possessed by a demon, and you have to deal with the demon being like, hey, I said I would take you out on a date. We're out on a date. I don't care if you're a demon. We're here. It's just... And that has nothing to do with anything that happens in the game. You can go the entire game without ever talking to this person. There's just so much in this game, and it is just so incoherent in a way that I
feel like
kind
that would definitely
of love.
not be everyone's
No,
cup of tea, though.
absolutely not. This definitely feels like a divisive game, and the reviews that I've kind of seen from it have either been brilliant, Suda's done it again, this is another masterpiece, this is up there with Killer 7 and No More Heroes as one of the best games he's ever made, and then there's like, Suda's washed, guy doesn't know how to make a game anymore. There's no room for nuance in video game criticism, I feel. And I feel like that's exactly where this game sits, is like somewhere in the middle, and if you're in that thin slice of people who are interested in that slice, this game is for you. And I am one of those people who is like, yeah, the combat's not great, it's very basic and repetitive, you get a choice of 4 weapons and 4 guns, but they're all much of a muchness, so I kind of just picked one that worked for me and then used it throughout the whole game. You fight hordes of zombies, but it's not like there's like loads of them on screen at once. It's just here's a group, you kill that group, great, move on to the next group. Here's a group, kill that group, great. And as you get through the game, they introduce more and more stronger enemies that have glowing weak points on that you can hit for massive damage. It is very, very basic stuff, but I was invested in the story despite not understanding anything that was going on. I think that's kind of the theme of the games that I've played this month, has been like, I love these games and I don't fully understand why. But yeah,
okay. That's okay.
if that sounds appealing to you, I don't know if I've sold it particularly well, but Romeo is a Dead Man, it's out now. Go check it out. The only other thing I will say with that is that Grasshopper Manufacturer, which is Suda51's studio, have announced that there will be releasing a new game by the end of this year. They're really hoping to get it out by the end of this year. So stay tuned for more Suda51 talk later on in the year, and no doubt that I'm going to put some old Suda51 games on my backlog for coming years, because he's made quite a lot of games.
I don't think I've played a single one.
I'd recommend playing Killer 7. Killer 7 is probably the one that everybody's like, yeah, this game is actually just brilliant.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Yeah, remind me.
All right.
Remind me.
All right. So yeah, you haven't played anything else this month. I've not played anything else this month. What are you going to do next month? What are your plans? Have you got anything off the list that you want to play for next month, or? So
I said in this last one that I was going to try and do some Elden Ring homework if I had managed to get Pseudoregalia out of the way.
Yes.
I didn't do any homework because I only finished Pseudoregalia last weekend.
Okay.
The weekend just gone.
Yes.
So, my plan is to do Pony Island, which is like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, that's a short one. Yeah.
This weekend,
Okay.
get that done, ticked off for March, and then Elden Ring homework for the rest of the month.
Okay.
Hopefully, get up to the DLC within that time.
Hopefully, ready to start the DLC in April.
Ready to start the DLC
or whatever.
Yeah, either next month or any of the other months after, just as soon as I'm ready. But I mean, I mentioned I kind of wanted to play Sekiro the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this, FromSoft game, Elden Ring, will scratch that itch somewhat instead of going back to Sekiro. So, and then I might play Reanimal with my boyfriend Joe, and
that's from the studio that made Little Nightmares 1 and 2. They didn't make Little Nightmares 3, they made this instead. But it seems very much like a spiritual. This very much seems like a spiritual sequel in similar kind of design and stuff.
I liked Little Nightmares 1 and 2. I'm expecting this to be very similar. But it's very new, so I'm going to see if I can pick it up for, I think, less than 40 quid, because I think the original price was about 40 quid.
That sounds right.
It's split between two people, I suppose, if you're playing it co-op. But, so we might play that, and then the only other thing which I'm going to be playing, that I know you're also going to be playing.
Yes, I will.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
As this goes out a few days previous to when this goes out.
Yeah, but by the time you're listening to this, there's a very good chance I'm already playing.
Yes. Resident Evil Requiem.
Yes! 9. Requiem.
Joe, you're playing this on release. You've got the day booked off.
I've got, yes. As we record this, we're about... I'd just say I can't bother to do the maths right now, but less than 12 hours away from this game coming out. So I've booked the day off work. I'm going to play as much as I possibly can over the next couple of days. And expect to hear about that from me. And I'm guessing from you as well, because I think you are really keen to play this.
Yeah.
Maybe not as keen as me, but keen still.
Well, I was going to buy it, and then I found out that Joe's brother is buying this on PlayStation 5. He'll probably be done with it within a week or two, so he said we could use it afterwards.
Nice.
Save us buying it on PC or whatever.
Yeah.
Save a bit of money. So, yes, I will be playing it. I was going to buy it, but I might as well just wait a week or two.
Yeah, save the money, absolutely.
So, hopefully I will also have finished it by the time we do our next podcast, so we can have a little talk about it.
Yeah, if you're interested, I imagine next month's podcast is going to have quite a big Resident Evil Requiem section. We might have to set a time, maybe do like an earlier recording, maybe not in the middle of the night for that one, because that might go long. That might go long. Maybe we do a Resident Evil Requiem spoiler cast or something.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
completely separate. Maybe we just jump on and have a little chat about it after you finished.
Because it might be quite a lot.
Yeah. As for me,
it means we don't have to worry about waiting for it.
Exactly.
Not quite done.
But yeah, as for me, Resident Evil Requiem's the big one. For my list, I haven't fully decided what I want to do. Maybe I want to kind of pick maybe something a little bit longer. So I'm thinking maybe Sonic Frontiers or possibly Pacific Drive. I haven't fully decided yet. I'm leaning more towards Sonic Frontiers because I just want like a little, especially after playing Resident Evil Requiem, I probably want something a bit colourful and fun. But hey, tune in next month to find out what, if anything, I did actually play.
See what takes your fancy.
Yeah, exactly. There are a few games coming out in March that I'm interested in, and I know a couple that you are somewhat interested in. Some of the big ones for me is the Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. I am a huge Legacy of Kain fan. I love those games. The fact that Remastered, I think that's the one that comes with like a demo for an unreleased game in that series. I'm absolutely going to get in there and try that. So I'm really curious to see what that's all about. We've got Slay the Spire 2 entering early access on March the 5th. I was a big fan of Slay the Spire. I don't... Did you play much of Slay the Spire?
I own Slay the Spire and I played a bit of it.
Okay.
But I don't think I ever beat a run particularly.
I was never good at it, but I loved playing it. So I've got like 60, 70 something hours. I beat it with all of the characters at one point. But yes, yeah, fantastic Steam Deck game. We've got Marathon coming out March 5th. I don't think either of us are really going to play that, but it might.
Apparently Joe is looking at playing
Oh,
it.
right, okay, maybe.
So maybe we should.
Maybe we do end up playing it. Who knows? And then another big one for me, Fatal Frame 2, the Crimson Butterfly remake is coming out March 12th. Sounds like March is going to be a good month for horror.
Yeah.
As well, we've got Crimson Desert on March 19th. This was something that you're particularly interested in.
Is this the is this the one?
Is it? Am I interested in this? Is this the one?
Is this the Returnal one?
No, that's Saros. Crimson Desert is you've got it on your Steam wishlist, so I assumed you were interested in this. It's like a standalone I think it's from the same people who made Black Desert Online, but it's more of like a single player action RPG. Take some time, look it up, we'll come back to it. But early impressions from that seem to be pretty good. So, yeah, maybe I'll check that out at some point as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go. There we
recognise
go.
this.
She's found it.
I'm probably not going to buy this on release.
No, but it's been getting a lot of buzz and people do seem really interested in it. So, yeah. Also on March 19th, you've got Death Stranding 2 on the Beach releasing on PC. I will not be buying that. I do not like Death Stranding 2. I think Death Stranding 2 is bad.
I haven't yet played it. I've seen bits of it. We have it on PS5 though.
Yeah,
I
also have it on PS5. I just dropped off that game so hard. I dropped off
I think I will enjoy it, but I played Death Stranding 1 semi-recently.
Yeah, I played Death Stranding 1 when it
break.
came out 7 years ago. And then going to Death Stranding 2, and I was like, I just played this game yesterday. This is the same game. And I was like, no, the novelty wore off. It didn't hook me. I was just kind of, no thanks. I'm good.
I think I will still probably like to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, play it. Loads of people called it their game of the year from last year. I'm sure some people will try and call it the game of the year this year from this PC release. People like it. I'm not people. One game that I am very interested in though is Screamer. This is a arcade racing game with an anime storyline that looks sick as fuck, and I am here for it. Much like with Ace Combat 3 having a really cool story, I am very interested in games with cool stories that you think shouldn't have cool stories. Like, whose idea was it to put a really good story into a car racing game? So I'm quietly really excited about that one. I'm really excited to check that out. Then moving on to the end of the month, March 31st, we've got possible Game of the Year contender Racoin. Coin Pusher roguelike.
Telling me about this one.
I was telling you about this. I'm honestly surprised you haven't played it because this seems like this might be right up your alley.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to try it.
Maybe you should try it. It's cute as hell. It's a coin pusher. It's a roguelike, which I can take or leave, but it looks and plays really fun. So yeah, I think that there was a demo available. I don't know if that's still available. But the game's out at the end of March, so yeah, maybe we'll revisit that in a future episode. And then also at the end of March, we've got Legacy of Cain Ascendance. This is something that I've already spoken about how much I like the Legacy of Cain. This is a new Legacy of Cain game. In the year of our Lord 2026, there's a new Legacy of Cain game.
Wow.
I'm going to have to check this out. That's coming out end of March. Probably not going to be... I probably won't have played that by next month's episode, so you'll have to just stay tuned. And then there's a nebulous one here. We've got Forbidden Solitaire. This is just down for Q1 2026. But this is a spooky solitaire game from the same people who made Home Safety Hotline, if you're aware of that game. That game, you play as... You're taking phone calls and like a hotline, and people are like, oh, I'm noticing all these things around my house, and you go through the big binder of symptoms. And you diagnose what mythical creature these people are being plagued by and give them advice on how to avert that haunting or whatever. A really neat game. Really like the demo. One of these days I'll play the full game of it. But I'm really curious to see what Forbidden Solitaire, what that actually turns out to be.
And I guess Q1.
Q1, it could come
March,
out. It might not. Who
So...
knows? I'll keep an eye out on it. It's on my wish list. So yeah, I think that's all. That's all the games that I'm particularly interested in.
There's quite a few though.
There's quite a few,
as usual.
Like we say, the backlog is ever growing. But yeah, unless there's anything else from you, is anything? No.
My mouth's zipped. I'm done.
All right. I think that's a podcast. Thank you very much. What I will say, because I forgot to do this last time, is send us an email. Email us at emails@clearthebacklog.com. What's the email address?
Yeah. Emails at clearthebacklog.com.
Emails.
And tell us which games you want to go back in time and play.
Let us know if there's anything that you've been on, anything that's been on your list for a while, anything that you've kind of been inspired by us to go back and play.
Do you fancy going back and playing Wind Waker or Sekiro like I do?
Or Legacy of Cain.
Or do you think I'm stupid?
Yeah, let us know what games you always find yourself going back to, despite having an ever-growing backlog and new games coming out every second of every day.
Yeah.
That's emails at clearthebacklog.com. Just send us some thoughts. I don't know. Just have a good time with it. All right, Dani, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The outro music, which you might be hearing around now, that's Aerosol of My Love by Kevin MacLeod. You can find him at incompetech.com or on YouTube, where you can watch the videos with his dancing cursor. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. I've been Joe. That's been Dani. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.